Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the best new class mods in Baldur's Gate 3's mod manager. We got 19 different subclasses here to break down, and each of these class mods is going to have more content than the base game classes. They're all very well done. The first one I want to touch on is the Huffman's Magus, a class of spell and steel. This is your iconic Gish style build. This is made by the Wailing Bard, and it's a rendition of the Benjamin Huffman's Magus homebrew class. Now, this has 5 different subclasses here. I'll be getting to this in just a moment. But we also have ourselves the Psion class here by Tepkun said. This has 3 different subclasses to spellcaster, and you can imagine what the theming on this one is. And we also got one of the most interesting classes I've seen, the Witherbloom class here by Eclipse. Now, typically, damage over time isn't that great in Baldur's Gate 3, but if you're going to use some of the other classes and use things like Tactician Enhanced, that's where this really shines, because it's got some cool abilities I haven't seen in any other subclass. And finally, this is a massive one, the Elder. This is like a sorcerer, and it has 10 different subclasses, so a lot of different flavors here to go through, and I guess that's the first one I'm focused on here. And this is the Dark Faith subclass. You can see a lot of different psychic damage and darkness-based spells. You can summon in ravens, but there's a lot of other choices. As you can see here, there's the 10 different subclasses, and this mod's made by Orhine 1985. So between the subclass, you got the Windwalker, which is fast, deadly, and sharp. Wind is your main weapon, which is interesting. There's not a lot of wind-based classes here. So you get the Flaying, rip your target skin to shreds. You can cast a spell in melee or range. You get different effects depending on your range. The Lightweight Feather, gain immunity to fall damage. Your movement speed increases. The Mist Spell, which is like a fog cloud version. And Squall, summon a strong wind that clears all clouds and pushes back creatures. There's also the Naturalist. I'll show off some of these in a little bit more detail, but there's literally all the way up to level 20 abilities here. The Naturalist gives you Acid Bolt there, Poison Shot, which can possibly poison the target, Vicious Vines, which entangles and poisons, and Corrosive Explosion. This is actually a powerful poison-based class, which there's not many of. The Mind Force Commander, Force Damage, you got Force Missile, Scary Whispers, the Compel, and then also the Force Wave, which is kind of like a thunderous wave, or a thunder-based pushback spell here, which gives you additional 3d8 force damage. The Terrestrial, which is all about, you know, manipulating Earth, so you get the Muddy Floor spell there. We also get the Dust, which can blind targets, and Throw Stone, which can stun a target, which is actually really good to get at level 1, and Mud Burst, which can apply Mud Body to the enemies around you, slowing them down. Also the Tempestuous here, which is all about lightning. You got the Elder's Thunder Wave, Witch Bolt, Reversal, Sound Reversal, and Elder's Shatter. Then the Eternal here, which is necrotic based with Elder's Arms of Dar, False Life, Inflict Wounds, and Hex. There's also the Sun Herald, which is about fire. You got the Cone of Fire, Elder's Guiding Bolt, Elder's Heat Metal, and Solar Retribution. Occlumensian here, which gives you Create or Destroy Water, Ice Knife, Geyser, which can propel creatures back and creates water surface, and Aqua Shield, giving you temporary health, basically Armor of Agathis. The Dark Faith, which is the one I showed at the very start there. You get Shadow Wounds, which is psychic damage, and as we all know, psychic damage is really strong in Baldur's Gate 3. You'll get a Shadow Blade version, or a different version of Shadow Blade you can get at level 1. There's the Pass Without Trace, and then Dark Flash spells here. And the Life Guardian, which gives you healing spells, and then Bane as well as the Breath of Life. It's kind of like a Star Druid Paladin kind of mix. What's interesting about these, they all have their own unique way of playing. You also get a great choice in cantrips here. You get to pick a deity as well. I'll show you the Windwalker one, because this one is a lot different, but each of these has a lot of different subclass abilities as you level up, which is just amazing to see. Once you make it to level 2, you get the Ancestral Power Source. When you roll spell damage, you can use 1 Elder Power to deal maximum damage, so like the Channel Divinity of the Tempest Domain Cleric. From now on, you can use your Elder Power's resource to trigger devastating additional effects, so all the spells have some cool new ways of dealing damage. And you still get the same spell selection with Mistress spells added on, and you get the sorcery point deal there, so a lot of different meta magics you can use. You also get different stances, so you can go between pure spellcaster or a war mage with the Elder stance. So if you want to be more of a Gish and melee build, you can do that, or go full in on your spellcasting. The subclass features you get at level 3, 5, and continued onwards. This one will increase your movement speed, advantage on dexterity saving throws, and jump twice as far. That's pretty big. Windwalker, Twister, deal slashing damage and hold your enemies still, and it's basically like a damaging version of Hold Person. And then you get the Wind Travel. Some of the other subclasses get a teleport spell here, so use the power of the wind to teleport you to a place you can see afterwards, advantage your next melee attack roll. This does use an action, so I don't love it, but you get Elder Fighting Styles here. Depending on the subclass you choose, you can get different abilities as you level up, and some of them are extremely powerful, like the Elder Boost, which all of them get. Now, the enhanced or improved Charisma just gives you proficiency in Charisma or history checks there. You can increase the range of your cantrips by half, which is nice. Gain an additional reaction. Get the Devil's Sight here, or Elder Vision, and get an additional bonus action. Crazy. So you got a lot of really powerful upgrades, and you get more of them as you continue to level up. As mentioned, these are probably best used with something like Tactician Enhanced to make the game a little bit more challenging. You get the Cast and Strike. After casting a spell or cantrip, you can make a melee attack as a bonus action, which is nice because we had 2 bonus actions. Breath, create a tunnel propelled by your hands and during enemies with slashing damage. And Air Pressure, create a haste zone within 2-meter radius. Everyone that's in it has haste and advantage on dexterity saving throws and a +2 to armor class. That's actually really good because you can group them all together and not have to worry about fireballs as much because you'll have advantage on the dex save for your whole team. And again, more cantrips here. The Elder Powers are some of the most powerful parts of this build. For this subclass, we get the Violent Wind. Once activated, and the cost of 1 Elder Power, your next spell or cantrip can bleed the target, and if this is already applied, they'll suffer 3 to 30 slashing damage plus your wisdom modifier. Violent Winds, pretty strong there. And access to a really great spell list with things from like the Warlock, Clerics, and you name it. You also get the Tornado spell. This is, again, exclusive to the subclass. Each subclass has their own unique spells, but I think it's just so well done. This does 7 to 56 slashing damage, makes them bleed. And the Wind Freedom, during 10 turns, you don't trigger opportunity attacks anymore and cannot be restrained, and you unlock Zephyr, which is a dash. And then you get even more powerful Elder boosts, like the Arcane Acuity. You know how good that can be. Getting yourself plus up to 10 spell save DC for making melee attacks. Crazy. And that can also apply from Arrow of Many Targets to get it really quickly. Fast Attack. If a creature attacks, you can use your reaction to make an attack back at them. You get the Magic Resilience, advantage on saving throws, which is massive. And then the Elder Slayer, which gives 1d8 bonus if it's below their maximum health points. And the Elder Strike, which is similar to the Eldritch Knight's benefit as well, giving disadvantage on saving throws after getting hit with a melee attack. As you can see, lots of benefits here. Subclass feature level 8, Wind Strike. You can imbue your weapon with the power of the wind. You can strike your enemies in melee or from a distance of up to 18 meters for a melee attack, which is just crazy. And then we further get more choice in weapons there. It's kind of cool to be able to do like a wind slash at the enemy. That's what I think is most interesting about this. Packed Flight gives your entire team flight until long rest, no concentration. And Aeolian Attraction, 68 slashing, attract enemies towards you in a 3-meter radius with a powerful wind that disarms them. So you just go grab their weapons. And then we continue to keep getting meta magics. This build is really strong. Again, more cantrips and spells. At level 11, you get the Thrifty Sorcerer, so you can use your Elder Power to cast spells without using a spell slot. And you get the Elusive Breeze. All allies become invisible. Attacks the instrument with disadvantage, and attacks made with advantage. So just group invisibility. You also get to add a lot more spells. So when you cast a spell, add the form of psychic damage to your wisdom modifier when it's the damage it deals. This will add your dexterity to add force damage, your dexterity and wisdom modifiers together. Sorry, the wording's a little tough to read there. Brutal Elder will give you increased critical hit chance by 1 or 5% there. Elder's Style gives you a +2 to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. So yeah, you get a lot of extra boosts here. Continue to make your character more powerful. And again, pairs well with any type of mod that's going to increase the difficulty of the game. And even into level 13, you continue to keep getting unique spells. Like there's just so much. As I mentioned, there's 10 different subclasses we saw there. So yeah, the Elder by Orheen 1985 adds so much to the game. I'd recommend checking this out if you want to get a little bit more information on it, because yeah, there's a lot. As you can see, this is an incredible mod to see this much level of detail in it. So yeah, that is the Elder. Highly recommend this class mod. Next, I'll showcase the Huffman's Magus here by the Wailing Bard. This one's a little more balanced. So this is based around an actual D&D homebrew class. So you can imagine they have to keep these things balanced. It's overpowered doesn't always flesh well with the tabletop experience. But 5 different subclasses here. You get the Arcane Order, the Knight Stygian, the Primordial Seal, Sidereal Cabal, and the Sylvan Circle. So with the Arcane Order, you get this arcing arrow here. So make a ranged weapon attack with your equipped weapon. If the attack hits, you proceed as normal. If it misses, the shot redirects the nearest enemy and makes a second attack. If it hits, the creature takes lightning damage equal to your spellcasting modifier. At 5th level or higher, you'll deal additional lightning whenever the target is hit. And you get the Spell Shattering Strike. This is a cool one. So it does your weapon damage like a forceful smite. So it adds a 1d8 to your weapon damage if the target is concentrating on a spell. And at 5th level or higher, they'll also deal force damage regardless of if they're concentrating or not. So as you level up, these get more powerful. Pretty cool. And this cantrip does not function with features like extra attacks, so that's something to keep in mind. I think that keeps things very well balanced. You also again get some cantrip choices here, so you can go with something a little different, like if you want the Vortex Dart instead. The Night Stygian here gives you the Bloodletting Bite, so weapon damage plus 1d12 necrotic damage if it's at half its maximum hit points or lower. And Thaumaturgy there. Primordial Seal gives you the Rime Strike. On hit, the target suffers its normal effects plus movement speed is half, so this is kind of like a Ray of Frost infused shot here. And then you also get Booming Blade. We all know how good that is, but there's also, again, you can take the Arcing Shot too if you'd prefer. Sidereal Cabal gives you the Misfortune's Mark on a melee attack. Against a creature, you make a use your reaction, impose a 1d4 penalty to an attack roll. So basically give them Bane if the attack launches, and your attack deal additional force damage. Does not give you the extra attack. And the Vortex Dark made a ranged weapon attack against a creature on hit. In addition to the normal effects, anyone within 5 meters of the target is pulled towards them. And this will also deal force damage once you hit level 5. Sylvan Circle, that gives you the Rime Shot, but also the Warden's Rebuke. On weapon attack against a creature, you set the earth on them, so immediately takes 1d6 bludgeoning damage as the earth rises up to rebuke it, and this will also deal additional damage at level 5. I'll show you the Arcane Order version here, because I think this is my personal favorite of the 5. So you get the Mystic Marks. These are specific to this class, so you can use this to enspell a weapon or grant a creature Aegis. So these are buffs that you can apply to your team. They're not overpowered either. Like a bonus action, apply a +1 to AC. That's pretty good, but not, again, broken. And this will give a +1 attack and damage rolls, so that's pretty cool. Using your Mystic Mark charges. You also get to choose from a variety of different spells here with some of my favorites, like Shield and Magic Missile. And level 3 gives us the Eldritch Armament here. So you get to choose which one of these you want. So you get things like the Eldritch Archer, which you can, when you hit a creature with an expelled ranged weapon, you can expend a spell slot to cause the ammunition to explode mystical energy. When you do so, anyone within 3 meters must do a dexterity save or take 2d8 or 2d4 damage. This increases by 1d4 for each spell level, higher than the first, up to a maximum of 64. On success, the target still take half damage. There's the Mystic Marauder, so basically the same thing, but for melee, and it gives you a 2d6 instead. It must have the two-handed or versatile property to use this. Sorceress Sentinel. Whenever there's a target under your Aegis is hit by an attack, you can use your reaction, expend a spell slot, and strengthen the target's defenses. The attack roll is decreased by amount equal to the spell slot extended. So that's kind of cool. Again, it's a risk reward. You can increase the spell. Like if you use a level 6 spell, so obviously it's not ideal, but it can protect you from going down. It's something. And there's the Spell Sword. So when you hit a creature with a one-handed weapon, you can do an additional 1d4 damage on top of it, up to a max of 5d4. And furthermore, the creature has disadvantage on saving throws against spells you cast until the end of your next turn. So that's obviously really good. Depending on how you want to go about playing, more archery, one-handed, two-handed, that's what's cool about this class. You got a lot of freedom to make it how you want it. And that kind of freedom, I think, is nice in different subclasses. So level 5 just gives us another choice in spell here. And not, again, as I mentioned, not overpowered, which I think is very good. At level 6, you get the Mystic Meditation. Once per day, you can immediately regain all consumed Mystic Mark charges to, again, buff up your team with a +1 to attack rolls or armor class. Level 7 gives you War Magic, so after you cast a cantrip, you can make a weapon action as a weapon attack as a bonus action. And then you get the Occult Savant. So through diplomacy, espionage, or occult experimentation, you've gleaned how to use 2 spells normally used by other Eldritch societies. So yeah, a lot of great choices here. Again, I think that's cool because it gives you some mixed spells from different subclasses here. So very strong. Each subclass does have its own specific spells as well that you do get, so that's something to keep in mind. Recommend trying out all of them. And then the bonus provided from Mystic Mark is now +2, so you get a +2 to armor class or attack rolls. And then again, some great spell selection here. Level 10 gives us the Spell Surge, cast your next spell without using any spell slots. You can cast at any level for which you would normally have the slots. Pretty good. And the improved War Magic at level 11 allows you to do this bonus action attack after any spell. And once you hit level 13, your Mystic Mark bonus goes up to a +3. So again, not broken. And I think that's what I like most about this subclass and or classes. You also get the Arcane Recovery here at level 14, so you can recover your spell slots. Level 15 gives you Spell Ward, so you and any allies within 5 meters of you have advantage on saving throws against spells. That's like a better version of the Paladin's Aura of Protection, so that's a really cool ability. So you don't even have full spellcasting progression, which is kind of cool, but you got those abilities here to buff up your teammates, which I think is kind of an interesting combination. With 5 different subclasses, the Magus is a very fun class, and this is part of the July 2025 modathon, so go vote for the Wailing Bard. This is just an incredible mod. Again, they write it all out so you can see what you're going to get exactly from these subclasses, so very well done. This is for the Alchemy and Art week of the Baldur's Gate 3 modathon. Really nice subclass. And now the Psion by Tepcoon said, this is a mental focused spellcaster, so they use their innate mental powers. You get the Mind Sliver cantrip, which is similar to the one that's in Mistress Spells. It makes a target have a 1d4 penalty to their next saving throw and deals psychic damage. The most powerful spell in the game, True Strike. And then we also got Command, Dissonant Whispers, Featherfall, and Mage Armor. And then the action, Telekinetic Propel. So here you can use this to pull targets closer or equal to a 1d8. And then also Mage Hand and the class feature Sonic Spellcasting. You can use your mind to do it. So you don't have to do any type of speaking. Silence does not affect you. You get a choice of different cantrips as well as spells here. At level 2, you get the Psion mode. So if you hone your physical powers to act as both a shield and a weapon in battle. It's concentration. You get another choice of spell, and you get passives here. So you get the biofeedback. So you can extend a sonic energy die to gain a number of temporary health points equal to your intelligence modifier. Destructive Thoughts here. When you cast a conjuration or evocation spell, you can expend one psionic energy die to add psychic damage equal to your number rolled plus your intelligence modifier. Inerrant Aim. You can roll one psionic energy die and add the number to the attack roll, potentially turning a miss into a hit. Psionic Backlash. When an enemy attacks, you can use your reaction to 2 to 16 psychic damage, kind of similar to the Tempest Domain's ability, or Tempest Domain Cleric, I should say. And Psionic Guards gain temporary immunity to Charmed, Frightened, and advantage on intelligence saving throws. So some pretty cool passives there. Nothing too overpowered. Again, this is quite balanced. And here's where we get our subclasses. So there are 3 different ones. There's the Psi Warper, which tunes their psionic powers and manipulates space between objects. So you get teleportation. You can cast Misty Step without expending a spell slot. It must finish a long rest before you can do that again, using a warp point charge. You also get the Warp Flourishes, so similar to the Sword Bard, you get those teleportation attacks. And you also get the Featherfall, Expeditious Retreat, Misty Step, and Shatter. With the Psykinetic, you get the subclass feature. Whenever you use your Telekinetic Propel, they take force damage equal to the number rolled on the die. You also get Clouded Daggers, Levitate, Shield, and the Thunderwave spell. And the Telepath gives you Detect Thoughts without concentration. Love that. And you also get Bane, Command, Mind Spike, and the Telepathic Coercion spell, which makes them take 2 to 8 psychic damage immediately, and then 1 to 6 every turn. So that's pretty nice. I'll go with the Psionic Warper because it's a little bit different of a class. Getting the ability to have extra mobility and teleportation around the battlefield, I think, is quite fun. And level 5 gives you Haste and the Blink spell, so decent choice in spells. You also get the Telekinetic Crush. You can make a telekinetic force area, which makes the targets do a saving throw strength, and on failed save, they take 5d6 force magical and is knocked prone. Level 6, Teleporter Combat. After you cast Misty Step, you can take another action. So that's pretty good. Misty Step being obviously a big function of this build. I think Misty Step is a really fun spell to use too if you teleport around. Banishment and Dimension Door here at level 7, so 2 really great choices in spell. You also get the Reluthum Psychic Lance, which with the Resonance Stone is actually really strong. Level 8, more spells. And you get class passives at level 12, or level 10 here, and a subclass feature. This was the Duplicitous Target here, so whenever a creature makes an attack against you, expend a psionic energy die to swap places with an ally. It's kind of cool, because we're not as tanky as some of the other classes. And then we get to take 2 more of the class passives here. And this class only has support up to level 13, I guess, so you can't go past it after there. But yeah, balanced class mod. It's pretty fun, giving yourselves these different level spell slots, mostly about teleporting around, using the Telekinetic Propel to move things with your mind. And finally, we got the Witherbloom class here. So the cantrip you get, Wither and Bloom, apply a damage over time, DOT, effect to a target. And you also get the Calculated Infusion. Record the damage over time damage taken by each enemy around. You can detonate all the damage over time to deal an equal amount equal to the recorded damage. So big burst of damage there. At level 2, we get the class features Infusion, so you can use this to cast your spells. And once per combat, you can cast Nihility for free. And with her Bloom, detonate all the damage over times. At level 3, you get another infusion there, and you get the Bio Infusion. You can apply a damage over time effect. I'll show these off in a moment. And Impending Doom, you can apply a fear on a target with the damage over time. At level 4, your weapon attacks apply a random damage over time effect. Level 5 gives you Viral Rebound. When an enemy that has not been affected by a damage over time effect attacks you, you can apply an attack damage over time to them. And you also get the Twilight Misery. Apply a random damage over time effect to all nearby enemies in a 9-meter radius using 2 of your infusion spells. Level 6 gives us immunity to the damage over time, and the Narrow Talk Surge. Chance to stun the target if they're afflicted with at least 1 damage over time. Stunning basically gives them, it kills their next turn. They don't get to move. Level 7 gives us the Contagion. Copy all your damage over time effects from the target onto yourself. and then copy all the damage over time effects from yourself onto the target with Scourge Binding. So this actually makes it interesting because you can actually apply the damage to yourself and then start spreading it to others. Kind of cool. Higher risk, higher reward. Love that kind of play. Now we get the dopamine shock here. If you get attacked and low on health, you become invisible but cannot move or act. Kind of cool. Level 9 gives us the crippling decay. Nearby enemies in a 9-meter radius afflicted with the damage over time may become slowed. Level 10 gives us the Elegy of the End. Nearby enemies afflicted by a damage over time are vulnerable to whatever element corresponds to their damage over time. That can get kind of crazy quickly. And then we also get the class feature Madness Factor. You gain 1 AC for every damage over time effect on you, so this can make you pretty unhittable if you continually keep stacking these up. Then we also get the Beautiful End. Detonate all damage on times and nearby non-allied targets within a 9-meter radius, so that's obviously pretty big. And you continue to get more of these infusions as you level up. So here are our different damage over time. So you got Burn, Corrode, Radiation, Electrocute, Frostbite, Torment, Rot, Poison, and Bleed. So yeah, you want to stack as many of these up as possible on the target, so you can go boom, hit them with that, and then they'll take the extra damage. So you can see there, she's taking the damage over times 11 and all that, and then we can use the Withering Bloom there to make the explosions happen again. And you can see the damage over time trackers there. She continually keeps failing that, but what's cool about this is detonating the extra damage. You can see you can actually explode the damage up pretty quickly. So yeah, it gets pretty damaging. The Twilight Misery is kind of cool because you can apply this damage over time on multiple targets. There's no enemies here, so yeah, that didn't technically work. But what's cool is you can always apply a bunch of different damage over times onto a target and then copy them onto yourself, giving yourself that increased armor class. And then when you have a bunch of them on yourself, you can then apply the damage over times for yourself to other targets. So there's a lot of cool ways to play this class. It's unlike anything I've seen in Baldur's Gate 3 so far, but those are the best new class mods in Baldur's Gate 3's mod manager. So the Witherbloom, the Elder, the Psion, and the Magus here. So some really great class mods. Let me know your favorite in the comments. Let me know also what kind of Baldur's Gate 3 mod content you would like to see next. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you all in the next video.